Hi, welcome back. I'm Arthur Benjamin, and I'm here with the lovely, the sexy, the beautiful, and the very cute Farah White and Bandit. Bandit, how are you doing today? You doing okay? We're here to talk to you about how Texas A&M Veterinary College is making a difference, Veterinary School of Medicine is making a difference in the treatment of cancer in dogs. And we're going to be talking with a number of people, right, Farah?
Yes, we are. We actually are fortunate enough to have Dr. Heather Wilson here with us. She's an oncologist, actually, at the Texas A&M University Medical Veterinarian School. And also Chastity Rogers is here with us today. And I think you know Chastity, right, Arthur?
Well, I know Chastity from the Humane Society of the United States. She was a wonderful regional director for the Humane Society. And actually, it's how I got involved in really national fundraising and making a difference for dogs on a national level. And so Chastity, thanks for being with us. She's now with Texas A&M and is the fundraising person for the greater Texas area, especially in Dallas. So those of you that know Chastity, we'll tell you a little bit later how to get in touch with Chastity and help the hospital.
Yes, so welcome, ladies. Very happy to have you on.
Thanks, happy to be here.
Great to
And
be
what
here.
we're going to do is talk a little bit about Bandit before we start with them. Bandit was a dog, as some of you have heard on prior shows, who was born who could not use his rear legs at all. And he went to Texas A&M to find out what was wrong with him. And what we found is he had birth trauma and really had just been squished a bit. And his rear legs, nothing worked from the hips down. And it was simply through massage therapy and balancing exercises that Dick and Janet Collins in Plano fostered him and brought him back to a level that I was able to take him on as a long care foster to be sure that American Dog Rescue didn't need to do more with him. He's now pretty healthy and pretty aggressive about stuff. He eats treats on a regular basis.
And he can walk.
And he can walk, and we'll let him go for a walk, okay?
Yeah.
Go
show
for a
your
walk.
stuff,
Go show your
Bandit.
stuff off.
Look at that.
So he's just a normal, terrific dog and does wonderful and is going to go around looking for food and making trouble while we're here. But I think that, so for the people out there that have dogs that have what they think are complex problems, they may not be as complex as you think they are if you get them to a specialist that knows and can tell you how to work with it, because this was a very easy fix for a dog that was going to spend his entire life in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So, but
And
we're going to really talk about the serious diseases now, and
Yes.
what a phenomenal hospital Texas A&M is, and how they can help with those diseases, especially the C word.
Yes.
It's true, it's true.
So tell us a little bit about what you do there.
Well, the oncology department at Texas A&M is actually one of the most rapidly growing departments there. Unfortunately, 50% of all dogs over the age of 10 will die of cancer. 25% of all dogs will die of cancer.
Half the dogs over the age of 10?
Unfortunately, yes. We've had such great advancements in preventative medicine, vaccines, leash laws, things like that. And so dogs are living longer. The longer they live, the more likely they are to get cancer. So we've actually have a program here where anybody can come in. They can see us. We see appointments Monday through Friday, every day of the week. We are key on diagnosing and treating cancer and have a lot to offer. And we have specialists in our field that no one else in the world has to help improve those treatments.
Well, let me throw a question at you that you probably hear a lot that came to mind that we didn't plan to talk about. But is what I feed my dog really responsible for some of what happens to my dog? Is it not just hereditary? Is it the animal byproducts and the corn and things like that in the dog food that we feed? And is there a better way to feed our dogs?
You know, a lot of people say that and ask that. And what I would tell you is the long-term studies have really not shown a link between certain dog foods and cancer. Now, obesity is actually a much bigger link between cancer in dogs, and that is related to feeding. And being a Southern girl myself, I know food is love, and I tend to want to do the same thing with my animals if they've had a bad day, those kinds of things. But actually the best thing that you can do is to feed a well-balanced diet. If you look on the back of your dog food, you'll see that there's an AAFCO standard, and that AAFCO standard will tell you that it's a balanced diet. The ones that have done AAFCO feeding trials are the best because they've fed dogs for over 10 years and shown that those dogs have a normal, healthy life.
What about the two main things, and I know that people say this all the time to me. Dogs can't process corn. That's one. I don't know whether it's real or not. And the other is dog byproducts are horrible things that you would never put into anybody's system, including your dog's system.
You know, I think the biggest thing is dogs are omnivores like us. And so they can process corn as well as we can for the most part. I mean, they can tolerate a lot of these foods and things. The worst thing that I have seen for some of these issues is people have started making diets at home themselves without the guidance of a veterinary nutritionist. And so when that happens, sometimes we don't know how to balance these foods well. There's a lot of science that goes into it. And so I would say if you want to cook for your dogs, I think it's wonderful. I wish someone would cook for me too. Some of my patients eat way better than I do every single day, but do it with the guidance of a veterinary nutritionist. There are websites and lots of information out there to help you do it correctly. And I think, you know, certainly we see dogs who have been fed a homemade diet their whole lives, who have been fed raw food diets, who have been fed, you know, any number of commercial diets. And I can't say that we see a difference in their actual incidence of cancer.
Interesting.
Well, and tell us, so in addition to any type of dietary things that they should be doing, you guys are also collaborating with MD Anderson?
Absolutely.
On cancer research?
We have many collaborations we actually do. Probably one of our biggest collaborations is with the pediatric oncologists at MD Anderson. So dogs get cancer.
So that's to say with the doctors who deal with children who have cancer.
Right. So in dogs, their types of cancer closely mirror what we see in children more than anything else. And so the types of tumors that they get, bone cancer, lymphoma, leukemias, those things seem to be very similar to what we see in people. We recently published a paper on some research that we've done looking at treating B-cell lymphoma, which 90% of the lymphomas in people are B-cell. It's a type of lymphoma that's out there, kind of like a flavor of ice cream. It's a type of lymphoma. The therapy that we have is we're taking the T cells, which is they're sort of the generals of the immune system, and we're trying to teach them how to attack B-cell lymphoma, or non-Hodgkin's B-cell lymphoma.
Wow.
So that's B like in boy.
B as in boy, yes.
But there was a study and some research you did that had to do with the cells that kill cancer.
Right.
The T cells.
The T cells. So
T cells.
a dog will come in, we'll draw some blood from them. We send it to MD Anderson. Those guys will isolate the T cells, the generals of the immune system, and we grow them up kind of in a environment which makes them get turned on and active. A lot of times.
So is that like growing them in a petri dish?
Yeah,
or?
yeah, it is actually. We grow them in flasks with media and a special kind of cell that gets them turned on and activated. Cancer is notorious for evading the immune system. It'll just slow down the immune system and kind of put it to sleep, and so it's free to do its own thing while the guards are kind of sleeping at the station, I guess. And so what we've been able to do is kind of take them out, wake them up and say, come on guys, let's go after this. After a while, we go ahead and infuse those back in. We expand them to pretty large numbers, give them back to the dog IV. The same dog gets the T cells, each T cell is done for each individual dog. We give those back IV, and we saw an actual 4-fold increase in survival.
So you take the T cell that's tied to the DNA or to the person, the dog, the entity itself.
Their own T cells.
And they do this with human beings as well, right?
So yeah, you could use it with humans.
Absolutely, and the whole point of this study is actually to help treat cancer in children. So the goal is we started with dogs as a model. It's nice because we can now benefit our canine patients, and so it's kind of a win-win, but basically both species are working towards this common goal of curing cancer. And it's not even just children. You know, lots of people get lymphoma, but in children it's one of the more common childhood cancers.
So our dogs could be the key to curing cancer for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. They get cancer for the same reasons we do. They're living in our environments. Half the time, I don't know about you, but my dogs are eating the same food I am. Don't tell my husband I said that, but it's true. Most of the time they are. And they're living with us, going outside. They're sleeping in our beds, so they get cancer for the same reasons we do. They're not a lab animal which has been bred from the same clone that has a very narrow gene pool that we've modified this animal in order to grow cancer in them. We can cure cancer in mice, any type of cancer, you name it, because it's an artificial environment. We're taking a natural environment. It's cancer for the same reasons.
So it's not cancer that's induced by, we see these trials in mice and they say, oh, this additive for your artificial additive for your coffee, it produces cancer, but they give it to the mice in a quantity that you'd have to eat it all day long, 24/7 for the next 12 years to get cancer. This is not that.
That's
this is
exactly
they're living
right.
with the same allergens, the same environment, the same smells, the same food sort of that we are, and they're getting cancer.
That's absolutely right. You couldn't be more hit the nail right on the head. Really what we see is that we see so many promising drugs who have cured all kinds of cancer in mice go into clinical trials and fail miserably, costing everybody, costing the people with cancer precious time, costing the taxpayers a lot of money, costing everybody basically a lot of money, and that's what drives up the price of these individual drugs. But with dogs, we can say, let's look at these promising drugs in a very short period of time for a heck of a lot less money. Does it work? And what kind of toxicity do we see? Can we perform this schedule in a way that works, that limits toxicity, that hits the target, and make it so that we can actually define these drugs early on, get them through the process, and actually get them into people in a timely manner for less money?
Well, I have to tell you, you just gave me the answer to when somebody calls me a rat, I can now say I am absolutely not a rat.
That's true, not a rat.
Well, and I believe we have one of your patients here and also a
Yes.
success story.
Absolutely.
We've got Charlie with us today, actually with his mom, Vivian.
Let's have Charlie and Vivian come join us.
Yeah, and you'll have to tell us a little bit about his story. And
Well, Charlie is he is an absolute trooper, and if the word survivor could be given to any animal, I think Charlie fits it. He was, I can let Vivian tell you for sure more of his story. He's not a super big fan of Bandit this morning.
Come here.
oops.
He doesn't like boys.
But what the nice thing about Charlie was rescued by his mom, and I can let her give you more information on that. So he was lucky from the beginning, but noticed that he was not feeling well, not chasing the pool cleaner around the pool quite as much, those kinds of things. And when he came to see us, he had a tumor of the anal gland, so the gland that actually produces a lot of secretions back near the rectum, so akin to colon or rectal cancer in people. And so he had a tumor there that had actually spread, and had spread already to the lymph nodes within his pelvis. And one of the biggest problems for poor Charlie was that he was having trouble going to the bathroom because his lymph nodes were so big. The pelvis is a very defined space.
Sure.
And so they were really encroaching on that, and he wasn't able to go to the bathroom very well. The other problem is Charlie's tumor was producing calcium. And calcium at a certain level is fine. Calcium at too high of a level makes you feel crummy, makes you not want to eat, and can be fatal if it gets too high. And so Charlie came to see us, and actually is one of our very first patients to get treated in our new Diagnostic Imaging and Cancer Treatment Center. And this new center just opened up in September, and I think Charlie came to see us in October.
Yes, he did.
And so this center has state-of-the-art imaging, state-of-the-art radiation treatment. Really, we're one of 2 veterinary hospitals in the world with this type of radiation
So are we
unit.
talking about imaging that would be like heart imaging we get of 40 slices?
You bet. We have a CT unit that's really, it's a large bore, so we can even get horses and cows and whatever, everything from the smallest cat, dogs as small as Charlie, to horses in there. We can actually do 3D reconstruction, so we can help the surgeons plan their surgeries by constructing these things and letting them turn it either which way and play with the images. We can do vascular studies. We have an MRI unit that's just phenomenal, top of the line. And then our radiation unit combines a CT scanner or CAT scanner with radiation. So we can actually in real time develop these images and then direct our radiation to it so that we really are within 2 millimeters of our target every single time. And that's what limits the toxicity. So it allows us to deliver a dose of radiation that can adequately treat Charlie's tumor in an area where you have very, very sensitive structures like his spinal cord, his aorta, his bladder, his colon, all these things who think radiation is, quite frankly, a dumb idea. We can actually deliver that radiation safely so that we can minimize his side effects. And so Charlie actually spent 5 weeks with us getting radiation. And then followed that surgery radiation with chemotherapy. And so he is currently, we're happy to say, in remission, doing well, and now back to chasing the pool cleaner.
Yes.
And when you say in remission, do you mean that the counts are below a certain level or they're normal?
We feel like he's normal.
Charlie,
Wow.
you're a normal guy.
He made it. Now, how did you actually find Texas A&M, or how did you know to go there?
Through my vet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your veterinarian actually referred you.
Yes, and I'm so glad that she did.
How far were you from Texas A&M?
Oh, well, it's about a 3-hour drive, but it's nothing for him. So we didn't mind the drive at all. Yes.
So what did you think when you first met Dr. Wilson?
I was a little skeptical at first, but they're absolutely wonderful down there. They just love, I mean, Charlie bonded with them that you wouldn't believe. He almost didn't want to come home. So
I hear they work in teams.
Yes.
That Charlie had a team.
Yes, uh-huh.
Is it like a family? Is it a group of people who look out for his treatment, and it's always one group of people? How does it work?
There, I met Dr. Wilson there, and she had an assistant with her, and they kept with Charlie the whole time that he was going through his radiation treatment, and he actually almost bonded with them. I mean, he absolutely loved them.
We have interns and residents and senior clinicians as well as senior veterinary students. So all of us handle the cases. And as the senior clinician, I often oversee the therapy that's done. So Charlie actually had 2 Dr. Wilsons. Nicola Wilson is our resident, who was kind of the main person in charge with him. And I think Nicola probably was so sad to see. I mean, of all of us, we were all sad to see Charlie go home. He became our mascot, but I think Nicola was the most upset to see him go home. But everybody was so happy that he was doing so well. But each team, everybody talks about every single case together every day.
And that's because you're a teaching hospital.
Absolutely. Well, if we can have the more people who can look at the case from every angle, the better off we are to provide the best care.
Now, can anyone participate in these trials?
Absolutely.
Do you get referrals from the majority of the veterinarians in the state, or?
Absolutely. Anybody can come to Texas A&M. All you have to do is call the front desk. And so basically your vet can refer you in if you want, or you can call the front desk and come in yourself. We have a clinical trials website that lists all the active clinical trials. But even if your dog doesn't fit the clinical trials that are listed there, you can absolutely come see us for standard therapies. And I would tell you that we have a busy receiving service. We're happy to see anyone at any time. We have people come from, I had a phone call from Brazil yesterday. We certainly have people come from San Francisco, North Carolina, wow, all over the country. So it's not even just this region. And we absolutely, people pack up their RVs and come here and hang out for a few weeks while the dogs get treated.
Do you have translators for the different accents we hear around the country?
Well,
like mine? Or do you have translators for people from out of the country?
We absolutely do. So we are a pretty diverse university, and so though we don't have official translators, it's a pretty good chance you're going to find someone from a region. So I talked to this lady from Brazil yesterday. She spoke English, but I told her I definitely knew of 2 people who spoke Portuguese, so if she needed me to speak with her veterinarian, we could make it work. So we usually are able to find a way to do that.
Wow, which is amazing. It sounds like you're just doing incredible
Well,
things
thank
over
you.
there, and that's got to be very exciting to
We
be in
love
on
it.
that, especially with all of the equipment and resources that you have available. And clearly Charlie has benefited. I love that. And clearly Charlie's completely healthy because he's...
Yeah, because Bandit wants to play with him.
That's right.
But no matter who measures Texas A&M, you're one of the top 3 in the country, and we're thrilled. We're thrilled that it's right here. Only about a 3-hour drive, 3.5 hour drive, and Bandit's been down there several times and loved his time there.
Well, which is, he should. And it's amazing. And to think that this dog's walking around and that this dog is healthy, and primarily you're a big reason for that. So if you want to learn more about Texas A&M University and the Veterinary Medical Clinic, you can log on to, I'm going to read you the web address, vetmed.tamu.edu/VMTH. Or if that's too difficult, you can just call 979-845-2351. And if you're interested in taking part of the cancer clinical trial, you can visit, again, vetmed.tamu.edu/clinical-trials-current-trials to see if your dog qualifies. But you know what? I'm going to say call them. 979-845-2351. Stay with us. We'll be back, and we're going to talk more about the seals and give you an update on that, as well as other things that Arthur's been up to.
Well, welcome back to The Love of Dogs, and we want to start this segment by thanking Dr. Heather Wilson for coming and sharing Charlie's story and all of the great work that's going on at Texas A&M.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Farah and I and Bandit are into so many wonderful things.
There has been a lot going on lately.
There's just a lot.
And you just got back from Wilmington, and tell me, you've got a pen on your lapel. Tell me what you're doing. Aren't you a chairman of something?
Well,
something else now?
I got involved in trying to make a difference for our heroes coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan. When I brought back the 14 dogs from Afghanistan, one of the moms put her hand around me and said, with tears coming down her face, "Thank you. This is the first time my son's been back in 2 years." And I just wanted to then do something for all the soldiers coming back with PTSD and military sexual trauma, MST. And dogs is one of the things that makes that difference. So there's an organization called, and we're going to have them on the air very soon.
Good.
Pause for People, Pause for Vets is a sub,
Okay.
and Pause for Prisons. And it's an amazing program that works sort of all around. They take a dog that they have raised or that has come out of a rescue. They put them into prisons in 9 states, 9 of the mid-Atlantic states. They train the dog to 100 or more commands, and then the dog graduates, sort of, and goes either to the University of North Carolina for a unique program in dog training that the students are in, a 4-semester program, or it goes to a private trainer who does a transition training to a warrior or to one of the vets that has one of these psychological diseases. And the work is amazing. It was a reunion of 50 vets and kids under the age of 14 who are disabled, who all received their dogs. And as part of it, they surprised me and made me chairman of their advisory board. So they're going to be on and tell us all about their program. But it's a unique program that lowers recidivism rate in prisons, that gives disabled people of all sorts, but mostly for me, our soldiers, the help they need to come back and be thankful for what they did. And it really makes a difference for everybody that's involved in the loop, the prisons, the soldiers, the students. It's just a great organization, and we're going to talk about it. It's a solution, I believe, for the country to train enough dogs to serve the 600,000 heroes we have coming home that have that problem.
Well, Arthur, I have to tell you, I mean, the work that you are doing truly is tremendous. You are constantly on the go and constantly sacrificing yourself, not only for amazing dogs, but truly to help everyone. And congratulations on that, because you're going to, I mean, anything you touch, you help, and you give 300% to. So,
well, talking about touching and getting off my, I get embarrassed when
I know.
Talking about touching, he came from Suzu Rescue in Plano, Texas, and he was, as I said, Janet Dick Collins brought him back, and you know, from scooting around. And Suzu's wonderful, and they're going to be on in 2 weeks, I believe. So we're going to have them on and talk about all of the rescue they do of Shih Tzus.
Which is amazing.
Sounds dirty, but
he's
it isn't.
Beautiful, but it's not. But now we are going to talk about something dirty, and maybe we should go ahead and start by giving you this disclaimer. And then in a minute, we're about to show a video, and it's really actually very graphic. So if you have any small ones in the room, you would probably have them step out. But you need to see this, and this is about the seal hunt and what you can do to help stop it, and it's actually going on right now.
In Canada, more than 2 million baby harp seals have been killed for their fur in the last 10 years. On April the 6th, 2012, the seal hunt will begin. Hundreds of thousands of baby seals will be killed in only a few days. 98% are younger than 3 months old. Most of them die painfully. All of them die needlessly, shot, bludgeoned, and skinned, all in the name of fashion. 33 countries around the world have banned their trade in seal products. Together, we can make this difference. Together, we can stop Canada now, but you have to take action. Go to www.stopsealhunting.com. We will do our part and match a portion of every donation made. But you have to make the Canadian government listen. Act now and stop the seal hunt. and save the lives of these poor baby seals. Go to www.stopsealhunting.com right now.
StopSealHunting.com. That's www.stopsealhunting.com, and it will tell you exactly what you can do. And you've got to do it right now because the hunt has started. They've already killed 1,000 of these pups, and April 6th they are going to go at this full force, and the limit this year is 400,000 pups that are less than 12 weeks old. So we all have a chance to do something. It's not like you can sit there and not do something. You really need to make that difference. So just go, we're making it easy. Just go to stopsealhunting.com, and we, American Dog Rescue, Farah and I, are going to match a portion of funds that are donated on that site. But in addition to that, there are things you can do that cost absolutely nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, you can make the pledge. Actually, you can write the Prime Minister, and you can do all of those things, especially within the next few days.
You can download the Protect Seals app.
Absolutely, and which will have the pledge on there. But please get involved, because we would love for this to be the absolute last year that this hunt goes on. If there was anything we could do to stop.
Well, we can stop it right now.
Well, then do something right now.
If enough people act right now.
Then contact the Prime Minister.
Because the Humane Society of the United States right now is negotiating with the Canadian government. And this StopSealHunting.com will give you every connection to the organizations that are making a difference and give you a way to donate where it's going to be more than the money you donate. We're going to match a portion of those funds to increase. So every dollar you give is more than $1.
Well, and so please help. They need your help. And clearly with matching the monies and then also contacting the Prime Minister. I mean, that's what you can do. It doesn't cost you a thing. So again,
please act. Don't just sit there.
Yeah, it's very
important.
important.
Get up right now. Go to a computer, iPhone, iPad, Android. Go to StopSealHunting.com.
You can also check us out on AmericanDogRescue.com. There's a link, and be sure and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We will see you next week.
See you next week.